This is Norfolk County Council headquarters in Norwich. This is a place where highly educated and very clever minds have all come together to work out systems and strategies which will help the people of Norfolk. They actually run a pilot program on this one particular strategy in South Norfolk, and it was such a massive success. They're actually going to roll it out across the whole of Norfolk to help the people. What is it? Wait and see. It's because I'm a Londoner that I love Norfolk so. Here's the story then. Norfolk County Council have used AI, artificial intelligence, to analyse whether you are at risk of falling over at home. I mean, seriously, is it me? Is it really me? You couldn't make this stuff up, could you? You're going to get a phone call from a local authority to say, don't climb that ladder, Davey, or do mind that step at your back door, Davey. I mean, how much money does this sort of thing cost? It says here, a process called machine learning has been used to develop an algorithm for computers to assess thousands of people's relationship between them, their home, and falling over. Councils then send people letters, call them or visit them to offer advice and suggestions like don't fall over. Now the grassroots thinking behind this strategy makes a lot of sense. They're trying to reduce the burden on the already overstretched NHS. But hey, wouldn't it have been cheaper just to send every household a very brightly illustrated pamphlet showing how to stay safe? Now, as you already know, I'm 75. Does that mean I've got to stop my motorcycle scrambling that I do every Sunday? I really do hope that two of these brats come and knock on my door. There's always two, you see, they never come out alone. There'll be two of them. And what I'll do is say, yeah, okay then, so the council is going to pay to have my 15-foot high privet edge cut, is it? Or are you going to pay to paint the barge boards on my bungalow? Come on. And by the way, it's a private company that actually supplied this AI intelligence to the council, so that means more taxes will have to go on to pay for this shit, won't it? And of course, I was right. 3 days after I started this video, the council awarded themselves a 5% increase in taxes. You couldn't make it up, could you? Now this is the same council, of course, that from 2024 made it to national headlines by charging ridiculous amounts of money for waste disposal. And they even said in the article, what do you think people are going to do if they're charged £500 to empty a van of rubbish? Well, Norfolk County Council, I'll show you what they do. This was from my morning walk. There will now be a short interlude while we look at something more interesting than a county council. These don't look right, do they? Actually, they carry a huge, great JCB machine, which I'll show you later on. And the reason they're at that angle is because when the machine's weight is on board, it all levels out. Big old tractor tyres, look. Huge. I'll show you the JCB that this thing sits on. It does the dredging of the riverbed. You might just be able to see it in the distance. Because that guy cruising the cup would love all this, wouldn't he? Here's another bit. Plus a fuel bowser and cabin to allow the workers to have somewhere to have a cup of tea, I suppose. Which is called Snipe. And then look at this old girl. I don't know what the cage is for. When they scoop up all the river muck, they put her in here and they ship them up downstream, downstream, sorry. They got several of these devices. Looks like the roof leaks. Yeah, cruising the cut. I think his name's David, I might be wrong, but I bet he'd love all this stuff. Well, anybody knows him, tell him to get in his van and come down here and have a look. There's extensive works going on here at the moment. So, to return to fly tipping then for a minute or two. Now, of course, the poor old farmer's got a predicament, hasn't he? He can clear it up himself, of course, but then he'll get charged the £500 to empty his van, or he can phone the council and tell them to come and pick it up, which of course ends up costing more money than if they'd have let the bloke empty the van for a tenner in the first place. So here's an idea. Why don't the county council devise a strategy using AI or machine learning to come up with some sort of systems which stops fly tipping? I do not condone fly tipping. I hate the bastards. But you've got to see it from their point of view, haven't you? I got fed up with these cold, grey images. So I waited a couple of days and I came out and filmed again. When the sun came out, what a difference a day makes, eh? Now, personally, I'm not very good with engines. I never have been in all my years. So what I've got is one of these AA home care package thingies that I pay for. And what happens is that if I get a breakdown or whatever, the guy comes out, which is precisely what happened. My car wouldn't start, so I called the AA, out he came. And he got out his tools, very nice chap, really nice bloke. Opened the bonnet up and he was banging and clacking around in there for a few minutes. He said, "Try it now, mate." And I did, and it started instantly. I said, "What was the problem?" He said, "You got shit in the car." I said, "How often do I have to do that then?" A Catholic priest and a vicar and a rabbi are having a conversation about when does life actually begin. So the Catholic priest says, "Well, I think that life begins," he says, at conception. And the vicar says, "No, you're wrong there, mate. Life begins when they cut the umbilical cord." And the rabbi says, "No, you're both wrong. It begins at 21 when the kids have moved away and the mortgage is fucking paid off." Now, back in the old Norfolk, when I was a lot younger, on a cold but sunny day like today, there was one other element, and that was the smell of wood smoke. You could normally just smell wood smoke floating on the air, and it gives a big summary of old Norfolk. But nowadays, you don't get the smell of wood smoke, especially in Wroxham, because there's an old Norfolk saying, and that is, "Davey, if it ain't earning, it's burning." And so what you normally get at this time of the year, of course, is those businesses that are failing have set fire to them. And they always blame the kids, you know. It's always the kids that set fire to things. But no, even Roy's itself, the big department store, burnt down on one year. Now that was an interesting Sunday morning. I came out the back door, looked up to a bright yellow sky. Not the sort of yellow that you see when the sun's rising and setting. No, this was a very, very strange colour. And I thought the apocalypse was upon us. You see, for these small businesses, here's the problem. Even though you've closed it down, you might still be on a lease, and of course, you've still got to pay business rates. But here's a little fact for you. If the actual premises is uninhabitable, you don't have to pay business rates. So, miraculous fires occur. One such miraculous fire was the old Broads Hotel, abandoned 3-storey hotel. It was only abandoned because of the idiot running it had about as much business acumen as a housebreak, but nevertheless it went up too one night. So there we are, boys and girls, in my mind at least, even more examples of socio and economic problems caused by local authorities. More examples of "is it me?" But here's the question. Where's the intelligence? Where's the intelligence of these people employed in a local authority? I do hope that I've made one or two of you giggle a little bit. I hope I brought a bit of fun to you. So, I get an awful lot of things just walking up and down. See ya.